This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. Armenia's prime minister has again defended his administration's agreement last month to a controversial border delimitation deal with Azerbaijan and accused a growing opposition movement of seeking to drag the country into a new war. We're in a situation where we don't have any security guarantees, and so what action should we take in these circumstances? Pashinyan asked rhetorically at a lengthy and wide-ranging press conference in Yerevan today. He continued, "We have to create security guarantees, and the purpose of delimitation is to create security guarantees, to make another war senseless, illogical, and impractical." Last month, Armenia and Azerbaijan reached a landmark agreement to delimit or legally define a section of their border. In practice, that process is expected to involve Yerevan handing over to Baku 4 abandoned villages along the Soviet-era administrative boundary separating what are now Armenia's northeastern Tavush region and Azerbaijan's northwestern Gazakh district. At the current stage of the delimitation process, only Armenia is giving up territory it controls, despite Azerbaijan occupying at least 83 square miles of land in Armenia, according to a CivilNet estimate, including areas in Tavush. For that reason, the process is seen by many in Armenia as a unilateral concession, with no guarantees Azerbaijan will reciprocate later on. The deal has sparked fierce weeks-long protests across Tavush, where scores of residents last month began blocking one of Armenia's main highways. Demonstrators have raised concerns they may be forced out of their homes if Armenia follows through on the deal, which would allow Azerbaijan to take control of areas directly next to a number of border villages. After law enforcement last week cracked down on the demonstrations, hundreds of Tavush residents and their supporters began a protest march to Yerevan, where they are expected to arrive on Thursday to demand an immediate halt to all border delimitation work. The demonstrators, who have dubbed themselves Tavush for the homeland, are being led by Archbishop Bagrat Galstanyan, who heads the Armenian Church's Tavush diocese. The convoy was joined today by Arman Tatoyan, Armenia's popular former human rights ombudsperson, among others. Speaking to reporters in Yerevan today, Pashinyan accused the protesters, who he claimed are under the influence of drug lords, criminals, and foreign special services, of seeking to incite war in the de facto dissolution of Armenian sovereignty and statehood. The prime minister, who has long been at odds with the Armenian Church's leadership, did not provide any evidence to back up those highly inflammatory claims. As of this afternoon, the protest march had reached Armenia's central Kotaik region. CivilNet's reporters have been on the ground with the convoy, speaking with participants and live streaming the developments every day since Sunday, and will continue to cover the news as it unfolds. In other news, Pashinyan will meet tomorrow in Moscow with Russian President Vladimir Putin to review problematic issues in relations between the two countries, a Kremlin official confirmed today. This bilateral contact will be quite substantive, and there will be many issues under discussion, Yuri Ushakov, Putin's foreign policy aide, told reporters yesterday. Recently, problematic issues have built up in relations between Russia and Armenia, which, as we expect, will be discussed frankly, he added, pointing specifically to Pashinyan's decision earlier this year to freeze Yerevan's membership in the Collective Security Treaty Organization, a Moscow-led military alliance. Before his one-on-one with Putin, Pashinyan will take part in a summit of the Eurasian Economic Union, a Russian-led trade bloc scheduled for earlier in the day tomorrow. Armenia holds the group's rotating chair this year. Notably, Pashinyan skipped Putin's presidential inauguration today and plans not to take part in Russia's yearly Victory Day military parade, which will be held on Thursday. That means Armenia is expected to be the only country in the Collective Security Treaty Organization or the Eurasian Economic Union not to send high-level representation. Speaking to reporters today, Pashinyan explained his absence at Putin's inauguration by claiming he did not receive an invitation. The Kremlin did not immediately comment on the matter. Pashinyan and Putin last spoke more than 4 months ago at a summit in St. Petersburg. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 758. That's the number of girls born in Armenia last year who were given the name Nare, making it the country's most popular girl's name, according to the latest figures out this week from Armenia's statistical agency. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.